Fuck me. Not in the good sense.
Pardon me, I again apologize for my fish friends. But I gotta say, guessing from your, bluish complexion and those pointed ears, you're a moon elf, aren't you, boy?
Obviously. What's your point?
You wouldn't happen to be, related to one Moony Estiero, would you?
As a matter of fact, yes. And the Estiero family does not take kindly to grievances.
Oh, no, I'm an old friend of the Estiero clan. Oh, good people, every last one of them. But I gotta say, I don't appreciate your relative trying to come in and muscle in on my business.
So what's your goal here? Ransom?
Oh, not at all. I'll let you all go in a moment, as long as you promised, butt out.
So then, old friend of the family, I don't suppose... And who exactly, shall I say, sent this message?
My name is Vaconcia. You just let him know that the Obscura is already taking up room here. He knows who they are well enough. So we have an agreement. I'll let you go, and when the time comes, you go your merry way, and you tell your uncle to back off.
Sure, anything for an old friend of the family.
I think Kaia has been almost completely disconnected from this conversation. I think I'm gonna try the Divine Sense.
The figure that just left the building is fiendish. Below your feet, there's also a powerful fiendish force.
Kaia wants to go down there.
So you are all led out of the cathedral, and you enter into this area, and you realize, like, this whole area is, like, this abbey is more than just one building. It's not just the cathedral, it's a whole area. Like, there is a large stone wall around this whole property that has multiple guard towers positioned in it, and you see, like, guards positioned in the towers. Loys, you see there's an old fairy shrine off in the distance that is being overtaken by black fungus. And there's, like, you see an area of, like, a large building of derelict dormitories that are being, like, refurbished. And there's also, like, a series of stables and a cafeteria with a kitchen and things. You pass a collapsed hen house that you see they're in the process of fixing. And there are, like, more buildings in this entire area that are all walled in by these large stone walls. This place looks impossibly old. And you are led into the cafeteria, which looks like one of the first places they got going. Inside, you see there are several people inside talking. They're all marked with these symbols of moths on them. Some of the, a good deal of them are human. Some of them are from grayscale, but not a lot. And you are all brought to one table where you see Jag and Barkley waiting for you. Yes, hello. Do you remember that desecrated abbey I was sent to fix by Sylph?
Oh.
Barkley nods and goes, I do believe I have found it.
Good for you, buddy.
It doesn't look like you will be able to fix this at the present time.
I mean, aren't they trying to fix it up? Sounds like he's in the right spot.
Are they?
You are all sat down at this table with Barkley and Jag. Jag is just staring forward and shoveling stew into his mouth.
Oh no.
He looks the angriest you've ever seen a lizard folk look. Which, you know that they don't feel, like, they don't have the same chemical reactions in terms of emotions and things. They're, like, a little bit more like Vulcans in that sense for Star Trek. But, like, he is getting borderline peeved, which you know is lizard folk for furious.
Have we been healed yet?
No.
Nope.
No, you have not been healed yet.
We're about to eat for the first time in a few days.
And as you're being sat down, Scum, is like, our cleric will take a look at you after dinner, if that's all right. And don't try any funny business, because me and my group are right at the table over. And you see there's a group of what looks like some pretty messed up adventurers at the table next to you. And they are not wearing the moth pins, but they are marked with the sign of the Obscura. And you notice this Jeruselem, because of that incredible nat 20, they all have for the family tattoos, and thieves can't. You see there is an angry-looking dwarf woman that is... I often use this description of they are as wide as they are tall, but it really does work for this like dwarvish woman. She's very stout, has this almost like rectangular like cube chest. She has this dark green hair, almost black, that has grown out into this wild mane that cascades down her back and becomes this like beard, but she's like shaved the mustache part of her face, so she just has like these sideburn beard situation that cascades down her front, so she almost looks like she has a mane going on. And she is wearing this like spiked armor, and she is shoveling stew into her mouth and like talking to this Knoll that is sitting next to her. Kaia, you would know this Knoll because you are from the same area as them. He is this small, skinny hyena man. His fur is like bleached white, and he is dressed up in like these greens and tans that you would know from the Orchard diaspora is like the best kind of clothes that they can make with what they have in that area. And
Question.
Across... Oh, yes, Kaia.
Because of how in the Orchard diaspora we all kind of just travel together as like a nomad group, could I roll for maybe have known him?
There are like multiple herds in the Orchard diaspora,
Okay,
but yes,
so it's
you
not
can,
just one.
Yeah, but you can, sure. Roll a luck check.
Okay, so a luck check is not adding anything.
Yeah, just roll a d20 flat.
Okay. 18.
Yeah, you don't know who this guy is.
Ah.
That would have had to be like a nat 20, because
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, but I don't know him.
considering the size of this continent that Riley has created.
Yeah, around the area, like the size of South America or Africa. And the Orchard diaspora takes up a good portion of the middle. And sitting across from them, you see a human-looking person whose skin is pale, like whitish blue. He has this hair that looks like it just got dried off from a shower. So it's got that, it's still kind of damp, but also kind of wispy and like flushed, kind of like messed up look. Looks pretty good on him, honestly. And he is reading a book. He has these glasses that he has pushed up on his face that look like they're fogged over. Like condensation is collecting on his rims. And he looks kind of just damp. And he is wearing open-chested robes, like a doublet with a deep V, and like these blue wizard robes that he has not bothered to like tie up or anything. And he is reading a book and eating stew.
How appealing does the stew look?
Yeah, what kind of stew is it?
I'm expecting it to be so bad.
I'm gonna roll a skill check.
For the chef.
Oh no!
I rolled a 2. This is the worst stew you've ever seen.
Oh no.
This is truly a miserable, miserable meal.
Kaia rolled a 5 on keeping it down. She is not eating.
You look at your bowl. You can't sit down because there are no chairs for a centaur here. You pick up a bowl, you lift it up, a cricket like surfaces out of the brown muck. Just a dead cricket.
Kaia just puts it back down gently and stands back up.
Should we all roll Constitution?
If you like, sure.
I'm not going to, because I think Loys was on the street for a good bit, and
Fair.
food is food, and like he puts up an act, but like he feels like a shit.
Yeah.
He can only put up half of the act right now. Said he was a cricket.
There's a cricket in Kaia's, yes.
Yeah, I feel like he just goes, "You're picky," and just it starts like he looks at Kaia as he's sitting down. He looks so tired. His hair's a mess. It's just this is not the Lois come to associate being like immaculate 24/7, basically, and just starts eating. He's just not even like bats an eye.
I'm not picky, I have standards.
And meanwhile, even though Kaia's grown up at a, like, monastery, humble school, Jeruselem came from an elven place where they probably got some of the best food in the world.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got a 9. He's not. He tastes it and then just pours it into Jag's bowl.
Jag continues to eat, it is sustenance.
I'm not even convinced this is edible.
I am used to simple meals, but I am not eating mud.
It's not mud. Mud tastes worse. And he just keeps going.
He has a point! The dwarf, laughs and, shovels more of this awful stew into her mouth. She's like, this is the absolute worst thing I've ever had, but it's food! And if there's one thing you have to know, is that you don't know if you're gonna get more food or drink, so eat what you are given. And she lifts up her bowl of stew and just pours it into her mouth and starts to chug it like it's a competition. And just bits of stew runs into her beard.
If I can get my belongings, I have rations.
Waterlogged rations still might even be better.
It's fine.
And Lois literally goes, you two have never known what it's like to be hungry for more than a day.
Well, no.
Kaia's eyes just shoot up.
Why do you think I've hired Crumpet?
Yeah, obviously.
Oh my gosh, you know what? I haven't rolled to see how Crumpet is doing in a bit.
Oh no! He leveled up mysteriously while we were gone.
Yeah, one moment. Okay.
He's walking around and suddenly just goes up to level 2.
Boop-a-boop-boop.
Yeah.
But again, Lois is probably always pretty nice to Kaia. And this is, again, the meanest he's probably ever sounded to Kaia. Lois, Jeruselem, Lois talks shit too.
Yeah, but you're hardly even verbal sparring with Jeruselem right now, so it's kind of obvious something's wrong.
It's called Lois doesn't have the energy to put up the act.
Honestly, Kaia expects, her teammates to have bad days and to not want to put on a facade of being nice or whatever, but, she is upset that you are, insulting her.
Yeah, it's also pretty wildly misplaced, because Kaia came from, a desert filled with undead.
Yeah.
And, lycanthropy. Her home is this desolate wasteland with not a lot of food, ravaged by several, arcane curses.
I'm saying the fact that she can be picky to Lois, it literally, shows that. Again, Lois is not putting up the act. This is the I grew up on the streets kid. This is not the refined taste that he's come to develop. No. And that's the thing. They've never seen this. Because he doesn't like talking about it.
Just you can be sad and upset, but stop being rude. Damn.
A thing that maybe Kaia should say in character.
Jeruselem gets up and walks over to the other table of all the other Obscura members and family members.
The Obscura.
Yeah. And in Thieves' Cant, he actually goes up to what was the name of
the woman that is our leader, her name is Scum.
Yeah, the leader. Scum. I don't like saying that. Anyway, he goes up to her and is in Thieves' Cant is just what is the family? I haven't heard of it.
She replies in Thieves' Cant in turn. She goes, it's my family. And she gestures at the Obscura that are sitting at the table.
Jeruselem kind of nods and he's like, I see. Do you go around... Is the Obscura your guild, or is that one that you're just working for at the moment?
She gestures back in, what the Thief Cant for we were absorbed is. Obscura was around before us. We got eaten up by it. Now we work for them.
in Shadowhorn?
She nods.
Hey, while we're using Thieves' Cant, I personally like Thieves' Cant being a sign language.
Oh, yeah.
I also really like that.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it also will have to be like a series of written symbols of some form because it's tattooed on these people. But yes, I like the idea that it is mostly a secret sign language, like hand gestures that you guys are doing at each other right now.
Conversational. We'll call it conversational Thieves' Cant is sign language because you have to be quiet. I had the thought of Shadowhorn, and if you were to like literally put that into a sign language, it would look so funny.
I was taking notes for Kaia's journal. Now I have to delete that because she's not hearing this.
Kaia does not speak Thieves' Cant, and neither does Loys.
You don't even know Thieves' Cant.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, I guess he just kind of wanted to know that.
Mm-hmm.
He asks, how do you feel about that?
She says out loud, how about you eat your stew?
I'm not really hungry anymore.
Also, it's gone.
Yeah, he already poured it into Jag's bowl.
She shrugs, puts some in her mouth, grimaces a little bit, but swallows. And she goes, this is the best they're gonna have until they get this place up and running again.
Looks like you haven't been here that long, then.
Relatively recently. We're mostly here, bodyguards, really.
So, Jag's very good boat. Was it taken around here?
Blank stare.
Did they leave our boat?
Don't see how they're expecting us to get off this place if we don't have our boat.
Oh, we'll take care of that.
Jag would probably like his boat back, though.
She says that, and Jeruselem just has this, like, flash of everyone in, like, burlap bags over their heads.
Mm-hmm.
Being, like, carried off so they can't come back to this place.
Hmm.
He does not like the idea that they would be taking them away instead of just leaving them.
Yeah, you are gonna need to be blindfolded. Maybe knocked out. We can't have you, tracing this place back. Mirage, do you know Sleep? And the guy with the condensation on his glasses, takes off his glasses, very quickly rubs the fog off them and places them back on his head. They immediately start to do over again. He flips a page in his book and he goes, yes, I do believe I know Sleep. It might take a few tries, but we could have them unconscious in no time.
Jerusalem's just kind of there like, good luck with that.
No problem. We'll knock you out. You have a pleasant dream. When you wake up, you'll be back in town. Hit up a bathhouse.
Jerusalem just kind of like rubs the bump that's already on his head.
Right, elf. You don't sleep, do you? Well, for that, we have Borla. You look at the dwarf who just mimes punching herself in the face, and then mimes teeth flying out of her mouth, and then puts her hands together in the sleeping motion and lays her head down on her hands and mimes snoring.
Just looks like, yeah, I got it. Thanks.
Loys just goes, in different circumstances, Borla, what's the name, would be someone wonderful to talk to.
Wrong. I'm awful. You don't want to talk to me.
Depends.
No, I suck.
I'm going through my inventory and my spells, trying to figure out if there's some way we can, like, put a tracker.
You don't have your inventory on you.
Completely gone.
Yes. I should set up your abilities. All of your abilities have reset. They're at full, but your hit points are all at 1 currently.
Yeah, and we don't have our stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
which I assume we'll get back, but whether or not that's
Mhm.
before or after they bring us home is... I don't like this at all.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, Jerusalem goes back and sits down next to Kaia and Lois and is like, I don't like this at all. He's gonna say it. Like, he does... Neither of us like it, me or Jerusalem.
And there's more to it, I believe. When we were in the Abbey, I sensed something under it. Something evil. And I don't know what it is, but I can't leave it there.
It's gonna be something related to, the person I mentioned.
Would Kaia and Jerusalem know anything about that?
I literally sent you guys message.
No, like, do we already know stuff about the thing that you mentioned, or is that just a name that you said that we now know?
Technically, Lois didn't even say the name.
No, he said the moth guy that created the moth race. That was
Yeah.
big news.
Yeah, so asking
we-
Riley, is that a thing that Jerusalem and I would know about?
No.
We know about it.
Maybe Kaia might. Kaia, roll religion.
Didn't we already hear
Okay.
that there was, like, a whole...
You heard that there was a new race of
No,
moth
we heard
people.
about that, but I'm asking if I know about the god.
Yeah. You know about Sylph.
I see.
You would not, and you know Sylph is responsible for the moth people. You would not know about the other individual in that relationship.
I see.
Okay, because I know that I said the demon, I definitely did say the demon.
Okay, so don't roll for religion on that. I just wanted to know.
You could roll religion, because, Lois said the moth guy that Sylph had the new mothkin with. So, the moth demon lord guy would be enough for Kaia to roll. Now that she has that information, she could try and piece it together if she gets high enough on a religion check.
Okay. 18. That's wisdom?
Wisdom in my games, yes.
Okay. So that's a 21.
Yeah, so you know that you know a lot.
I am knowledgeable of these things.
So at the bottom of the pillar is a realm called the Lowest, which is basically like this world's hell. This is where all the fiendish forces come from. Hell is ruled by a race called devils, which are made out of the fallen souls of former celestials and humanoids, particularly evil humanoids, and they rule over the Lowest. But what they have access to is this kind of eternal pit of evil, which they make a race called demons out of, which are servants of devils that are not made out of human souls, are not fallen creatures at all. The demons are just embodiments of evil. However, sometimes when they pull up a big enough blob, it'll make a thing called a demon lord, which is an immensely powerful demon. And these things are powerful enough and sapient enough that they can gather followers on the material plane and other things. What you would know is there is a demon lord known as Ropelocerix, who is supposedly this demon lord of false appearances and evil beauty, who is this big horrible moth creature. And all the cultists wearing moth stuff, sacrificing moths, starts to make a little bit more sense to you. Also, with that information, you would know the deity Sylph mated with a demon lord to make a new race of moth people on the planet. You don't know what that would mean.
Alright.
But now you know that there's direct fiendish heritage and a fiendish connection with one of the gods in this new race.
And Kaia just starts furiously taking notes in her journal.
Jerusalem just being entirely frustrated that he has no way to just, secretly talk to Lois and Kaia. He can't even write something down and pass it to them.
I have a message, and that's why I did that with the demon thing. I was like,
No. He can't even use Thieves' Cant with you guys, because one, the other people would know, because it's Thieves' Cant, they'd be there. And two, you guys don't know it. So he's like, we cannot plan anything, we cannot scheme, we cannot do anything but comply.
Yeah, for now.
Unless Kaia wants to just kind of tear up the whole place, which in that case, we're probably gonna die.
She wants to, but she's at 1 health, and she knows it's probably not best.
I think we should all take a long rest and see what happens tomorrow.
Gee, it's almost like we have to go talk to the doctor man.
Alright, that was the thing. I mean, I was just gonna say, let's go to bed and have all our health points by tomorrow.
The thing about that is, Kaia would not want to sleep.
If they were gonna kill us, they would have done it already.
She does not trust these people, she does not trust those fishmen, she does not trust that demon guy, and she does not trust the thing under the church.
Jerusalem's like, Kaia, they've taken all of our stuff. If they wanted to kill us, they would have done it already.
That doesn't mean they won't attack us.
They did it already. The whole point of the man apologizing was because apparently the whatever the hell those fishermen were got carried away.
It wasn't exactly an apology, it was more of a threat.
Whatever.
I trust the fishmen more than that man over there.
Beggars can't be choosers in this instant. We don't have a lot in our arsenal right now. They definitely do, so we'll take it as an apology because we don't have a choice.
Well, I'm done with dinner, if we want to go.
Kaia's also done. Neither of them have eaten.
Yeah, they were both just sitting there in silence, and Jerusalem's just like, well, I'm done. Shall we go?
I know, and like the thing where they were like, oh, I want to do stuff, and Loys was like, in his head, he was like, you dumbasses haven't even eaten. Like, yeah, it's not the best, but it's not like...
We haven't eaten in days. I think we can wait another day.
No, Loys does not like the idea of being hungry. But he's just like, yeah, whatever. We can go see the doctor or whatever.
If anything, the cricket might be better outside of the stew than it was in it.
And I feel like Lois looks directly at Jerusalem and goes, it's protein. Just dead-faced.
And Jerusalem's just like, yeah, don't people normally eat, like, locusts and stuff in the desert? Kaia, you should know this.
You think of Crumpet.
Oh, wow. A horse can live almost a month without food.
Yeah, but what about...
Centaur.
It's not good. It does the same thing as, like, what a human stomach does, but of, like, you get really hungry and lethargic and stuff, but still, a month.
It starts eating its own stomach lining and such.
Yeah.
I feel like that would slow it down being a centaur, but you would still, like, you need to keep up the human energy, not just the horse energy.
Yeah.
With that, Kaia might, like, she would be very, very tired.
Like, because horses have larger hearts, so they beat a little slower than humans, but you
Yeah.
have 2 hearts, I think.
Yeah!
Does a centaur have 2 hearts?
Yes.
Human half?
Wow, they do.
You have a heart in you have the horse heart and you have the human heart.
Same as you have multiple stomachs, almost like a cow.
Centaurs also have 2 stomachs.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kaia's learning a lot about herself today.
Hold up.
Didn't you, like...
Centaurs have 4 lungs.
It's a good thing we have Google to give us accurate information.
Well, okay, didn't you all talk about the if I remember correctly, the literal, like, skeleton of it last time or something?
Trying to figure out, like, where connected. Anyways, can we move the story along?
I'm sorry, I'm looking at how centaurs reproduce.
Yeah.
I don't want to know about that. Why would you want to know about that?
I mean, would it go to the horse womb, or does a human woman have a womb?
I don't think she has. I think it's one. I think the.
I actually want to say both.
Weird.
Reese, consider this. Humans give birth prematurely because they cannot fit the baby's head. So, if it went from the human body down to the horse body and then finished maturing...
Huh.
The thing is that, because of the way they're portioned from...
No, it wouldn't work. Because the sperm wouldn't be able to get up that far.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, this
Gotten
sure
a bit
is
intense.
not relevant to the adventure we're doing.
Unless Kaia's planning on getting pregnant.
No.
I have nothing against that, Kaia. You
Not
do you.
anytime soon.
I don't think that's something we want on the air. Riley, we're waiting for you.
You tell me what you do.
We said we were going to see the doctor man. Or whoever.
Okay. If you voice that to the Obscura, they're like, alright, we'll set you up in some of the guest rooms, and then we'll have Concona come take a look at you. And they lead you out, and you see there's, like, attached to the dormitory building, there are, like, a couple of rooms that are attached on the side, that are, it appears, formerly guest rooms for people visiting this abbey, that have been restored and fixed up, to the best of this cult's ability. And they're like, we don't exactly have a lot of visitors, but, you're gonna have to take one, because we're taking the other 5.
I feel like with that, Lois looks at them and goes, I'll sleep anywhere for starters, but that one, he points to Jeruselem, doesn't need sleep. And I don't know about the whole thing with Kaia.
Well, far be it from us to not help our guests. We welcome you to guest quarters 5. And they point at the one at the end that looks like it's maybe in the worst amount of condition. And they're like, and I will warn you, your roommate, just in guest room number 4 over there, is in fact Borla. And the dwarf woman scratches her beard and goes like, yeah, so I snore.
All right. Lois literally looks at the rest of the braid and just goes, I'm going to conk out either way. I don't know about you two.
Will the doctor be meeting us in there, or must we go meet him somewhere else?
Concona quietly raises a hand and is like, I'm the doctor. They don't have an actual medic on hand, so they rely on me.
Well, then will you be meeting us in there, or shall we meet you elsewhere?
I can see you in the room.
Thank you. And Kaia goes to the room.
Jerusalem's like, holding this in, and then he's like, I gotta say it. I imagine you have a good eye for medicine.
Concona blinks at you.
Lois just sighs.
I rolled for it, Kaia smacks you. Just like a
Wait.
bap on the back of the head.
I have 1 health point.
It's not a punch, she just like, it's the hey, stop that kind of bap that she gives you on the back of the head.
The one she normally does for Lois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Lois and Jeruselem basically switched personalities this moment. Lois is the one that's not talking and everything, while Jeruselem is like,
I mean, Jerusalem's normal. For one, he got a full night's rest.
3 days rest.
3 days rest. He may be a little hungry, which is kind of making him cranky, but at the same time, he's still gonna be himself.
Yeah, Jeruselem acts at like maybe a 20. Lois is usually at 100 and is now at like a -3 right now.
It's not that Jerusalem's talking more, it's just that Lois is talking less, and that makes a big... It makes it seem like Jerusalem is talking more.
And also the fact that Jeruselem usually lets Lois talk, but since he knows Lois isn't going to, he's like, oh, I have to.
I must break the silence. Also, let me just say, Jerusalem was highly disappointed that Lois did not laugh. Because Lois is normally the one to back him up on the puns.
Oh.
normally, but now, right now.
Okay, Riley, tell me, does the dwarf laugh?
Yeah, Borla cracks up. She's like, it's because you only have
Successful.
one eye. She is having a great time.
Alright.
You all five shuffle into the one room, I guess I have to say, because none of you are doing it.
Yeah.
I said Kaia goes to
Okay.
the room.
Okay, great. You are all five of you are placed into this tiny guest room while the rest of the Obscura wander off.
We really only need 2 beds. Because Jeruselem doesn't sleep. Lois wants to sleep. Kaia really just needs a blanket and some hay in a corner. We have a construct who doesn't need to sleep. And then there's Jag, who probably wants to sleep.
Lois literally said he will sleep anywhere.
Yeah.
He does not care.
So Jag looks at you and goes, I will be using the bed. If you require it also, you will have to share it with me. And immediately crawls into the bed.
Lois just goes, I don't give a damn. And just like literally without preamble, not even asking for a blanket, Lois definitely just curls up. Like he's on the floor, just curls up.
Okay. So it looks like Jag gets the bed. Jeruselem is gonna meditate in a corner. Kaia is gonna kneel with a blanket. And Barkley is just gonna stand. Does that all sound right for the sleeping arrangements?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One moment.
Unless Kaia wants to lie on top of Lois. With her human half, not her full body. Let me just say. I'm just saying, like, Lois and Kaia could curl up and stay warm.
Yeah, that's what I'm rolling for right now. Because she's a little miffed at him, but also she's a sweetheart. Yeah, she sees Lois just go and curl up by himself, and she, like, goes to the corner to grab a blanket, and, like, she thinks about it for a moment, and then she coughs over to Lois and sits down next to him and just curls up over there with the blanket over both of them.
I will say he doesn't really react because for him it's just like he's kind of trained his own body to just when he needs to sleep, he needs to sleep.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it in a way of how Kaia would have been raised in her own home, and she grew up with a lot of brothers and siblings, mostly brothers though, in like small tents. And so she would be used to like dog piles of sleep.
Oh no, absolutely.
As you all settle in, Concona comes in, walks around, gives a small bit of healing magic to all of you, just to informs you that you won't feel the results immediately, but this will basically allow you to start like healing and getting back on the mend, as opposed to like the pretty beat up and desperate shape you've been in for days. And as Concona is going around, Concona kneels by you, Lois, and pulls out the holy symbol of Sylph and presses it against you, and when they're talking to you, whispers something to you in Sylvan, which is like the language of the fairies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume Lois knows Sylvan because Lois grew up in the Feywild.
He probably, yeah, it makes sense. He most likely picked it up once because he was young enough to be able to pick it up quickly.
Yeah, Lois spent a lot of their childhood like growing up in the Feywild after Sylph like found them and brought them with them. Which is kind of interesting to think that like Lois spent a lot of their childhood like in a different dimension, pretty much. But yeah, Concona comes to you, pulls out the holy symbol of Sylph, and whispers like, "Are you a follower of Sylph too?" To you and Sylvan.
I would say in Sylvan he responds, "Yes, I am."
Concona says, "I'm a cleric of Sylph. I'm sorry for how they treated you."
And he just kind of goes, "Been through worse." I just imagine though, like Kaia is like laying, and Lois is speaking this language that she's probably
Yeah, she's listening.
It sounds a little bit like Elvish, but it's a lot more complicated. There are some words that are like borrowed words from Elvish borrowed words from like Sylvan and everything. It seems like the Elvish language is an evolution of Sylvan. Like Sylvan is something more ancient and pure that like Elvish was derived from. So like if you know Elvish, you might be able to piece together some similarities and stuff, but like you still wouldn't be able to understand what they're saying unless you can speak Sylvan.
But yeah, so Lois just goes, I've dealt with worse.
Konkona just says, I believe they are doing their best to follow Sylph. And gets up and seems like they're gonna leave. And if you guys don't do anything.
Nah.
Jeruselem doesn't think it's very strange considering he just did the same thing with Thieves' Cant, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too weird.
He's like, anything that will allow us to have a private conversation in this place, please.
So, as Konkona leaves, you are all left alone, and immediately, as soon as things quiet down, and you start to hear snoring from next door, Barkley immediately goes, I would very much like to drive these people out of this building.
I'm glad we are on the same page, Barkley.
This is what Sylph sent me to do. We should do our best to remove them. Violently, if need be.
How do you plan to do that with us being outnumbered?
Barkley blinks, and goes, we should find our things, and then those of us with magic can help those that don't have magic until we gather up our stuff, and then we will be able to launch an assault, a coup.
Great idea, Barkley. Tell me if you find them.
Lois goes, I will say that the one that healed us is a cleric of Sylph, and so that is what I was able to gather, meaning that they most likely don't realize the connection fully of who they're all kind of interacting with.
With all due respect to that random person we have barely met, I do not think that they know what they are talking about.
They're hired. Sometimes money is money, more so than your beliefs. Having a roof over your head is sometimes a bit more important.
Hired is putting it loosely.
If they are a servant of Sylph, they should do what Sylph wants them to do. This does not seem like something Sylph would want them to do. Sylph sent me here to fix this abbey, to make sure that these people would stop ruining it.
I don't think it's the Thieves Guild that are specifically doing it, and if they are, again, money is money. They are working for someone a lot more dangerous, and they might not even know who it is.
I don't even know who it is, and that's saying something.
Barkley, I believe the problem is with the thing that is under the temple itself. While the people up here may not know what is going on, that thing down there is probably what Sylph is concerned about.
Barkley's head kind of lowers. Barkley just goes, if they are working for people who are bad, and they are hired to defend them, then they are in the wrong as well.
I'm not saying they're not in the wrong. I'm just saying we should try and figure out how to deal with the thing down there, as well as how to not have to worry about who's up here as well. It makes things a little bit complicated. For now, I believe we should get some rest.
I second that.
If we take a whole long rest, then people will be waking up the same time that we do. We will not have a chance to act while they are surprised. If we are surrounded by the Obscura, we will not be able to strike.
How much can you heal on a short rest?
So, on a short rest, you have a number of hit die equal to your level. And you can roll those hit die and add your constitution modifier, and that is how much you are healed. Pretty much.
Lois goes, if you, Barkley, can think of a wonderful plan while we are all healed, all dealing with the repercussions of getting our asses handed to us by the fishmen, then I would love to hear it.
We should gather up what energy we have and sneak out and find our things. Once we are armed, we should attack while they are surprised. And then we can drive out this corrupting influence from Sylph's Abbey and return it to proper believers.
What makes you so certain they'll be surprised? I imagine they have guards, night watch.
You are a rogue.
And they're all thieves.
Some of them are thieves, who are sleeping next door.
Yes. And with that, meaning that while we have a rogue on our own side, they're not going to be surprised very easily.
Oh my gosh.
Barkley, baby!
No, it's fine. Barkley just doesn't say anything. Barkley says, then we will comply for now until we are returned to Shadowhorn. We gather our forces, and then we attack. At that point, we will overcome the walls, and then drive them out. But that may be more difficult.
Especially because we likely won't know how to get back here.
Barkley nods.
Considering Kaia can sense the energy here, and it is a temple of Sylph,
Kaia just vibrating.
there's not going to be a lot of temples of Sylph that are desecrated in some way. I think we can narrow it down from that.
Kaia, you would know that your divine sense only extends 60 feet. It is not so much of a spider... It's more of a spider sense than, like, a evil compass.
Yeah. And it only lasts 6 seconds.
Yeah. This may be like a beacon, but at the same time, it's... This place is so old, I don't imagine anyone remembers it.
It seems to have fallen into disrepair for some time.
We can figure it out. There's gotta be some older people who know this. It's not... Again, we are not dealing with all complete ruins if this place is still standing. It is in disrepair. It doesn't mean that someone doesn't know.
Hey, Barkley, you're awake a lot longer than some of us. Did you happen to learn anything else?
I'm gonna roll for Barkley.
Okay.
Barkley, baby, come on.
Okay. The Obscura work as an adventuring guild in town, but that is mostly as a cover and serving some purpose for their leader. They were hired in Libitina to help guide this group down into this area, at which point the group took up residence in this abbey and has begun retrofitting it and preparing it for some sort of ritual, which the Obscura have stayed on to guard. That is all I have been able to glean. Wait. Jag, goes... Sometimes, some of the creatures will walk into the cellar, and they won't come out for a very long time.
Now that's some good information.
And Lois was about to say, now that gets us somewhere.
They both say it at the same time.
Barkley lowers their head again. Barkley looks sad.
Lois just goes, you're still... How young are you?
Barkley does not answer that.
Lois just goes, I'm going to assume you're still rather young. You pick up things as you grow older.
I'm not a little boy.
No!
Kaia stands up and drops the blanket onto Lois. It's like, Barkley, could I speak with you for a moment, please? And she walks, like, to the other side of the room.
I will say, this room is like 10 feet wide.
Yeah, you're not getting anywhere.
She could still talk quietly to him, though.
Sure.
Kaia just, like, turns to Barkley and tries to speak quietly. Just, Barkley, I believe that you and I are the only ones on the same page right now of we need to stay. Am I correct?
Barkley lowers their head and goes, I do not believe that is the case. I think with some convincing, the others will aid us. Jeruselem does not like these people very much, and Loys is also a follower of Sylph, so I do believe that they are on our side. In theory.
Yes, Barkley, those are true statements.
I have known them for a while now, and while I hope you are right, if they do not want to stay and aid us here, I will be ready after a short rest to help you evacuate this temple.
Barkley nods.
And Kaia nods as well and goes back to sit next to Lois.
Jeez, Kaia, stop moving around. Lois is trying to sleep here.
Lois, honestly...
I know.
I don't think she even gets under the blanket. I think she just kind of tucks Lois in.
Aww.
Lois is probably, like, on the verge of passing out, just so tired. He's done with the day.
Yeah, despite the fact that you guys only woke up like 2 hours ago or so, not even 2 hours ago, like an hour or so ago, because we're accounting for like time having passed while you guys were eating and everything. You still feel relatively exhausted, like you guys weren't sleeping exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Being unconscious does not help you feel physically rested. That is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we feel like shit.
Yeah, I mean, I've done everything I wanted to do. Like, from here on out, it is all up to you guys. I am taking the back seat.
Yeah, I did my bit. Kaia's taking a nap.
Yeah. I introduced the area, I introduced the characters and the players and what's going on, and now I wait for you guys to act upon this information.
What I know is that Lois definitely wants to look into the Obscura more, mainly because he recognizes the symbol, but in his opinion, it's like, right now, we're so outmatched, it's just, like, not even funny, and he doesn't want to go into a situation he can't be in complete control of at least, hey, we know what we're doing, so I want to at least know, like, what the game plan is, because this is different than all the times we've dealt with the surprises. Like, when we were looking for the Lumi, we knew exactly what we were aiming for, and we got there, and we were prepared. That's why we were able to kick ass with the fiends and stuff, because we knew what we were doing. And Lois doesn't like going into things without knowing either. And neither does Jerusalem, from what I've gathered, so...
Yeah, Jerusalem's kind of like, their lackeys beat us up, and now we're in the middle of all of the actual, like, hirees. This is not a good situation.
You were beat up by fish people!
He's definitely like, his intention is to go back to his uncle and be like, what the heck, man? And then be like, you gotta help us take this guy down. He screwed us over.
Yeah, so it's not like Lois doesn't really care, like, it's more so that Lois knows that you can wait a little bit for something when, if you know that you have the upper hand, and right now they're nowhere near having the upper hand right now, so he's not gonna risk that.
But I think you could probably convince Jeruselem if you wore him down enough, and or either wore him down or riled him up enough to go with your plan.
Reminded him how much these people pissed him off.
Yeah. He'll either go along begrudgingly, or if you get him on board, he'll be like, alright, I'm taking over.
Yeah, Lois is honestly just thinks we need to have a better hand. So it's really gonna be... I honestly think Lois might be the hardest to convince, mainly because of that. Lois is like, we're dealing with shit that's really big. Kaia knows we're dealing with shit that's really big, but, like, she's kind of meant for this. I am not.
So once Kaia and Barkley Kaia starting her sleep and Barkley starting his, trance, Jeruselem goes over to Lois and kind of, Reese, is Lois awake?
I imagine yes, he's been acting like he's asleep just because it's been a long day. He doesn't want to interact with anyone. Let him be.
Okay. Jeruselem goes over and kind of, like, sits down, by him and is like, alright, so I think they're right about that dwarf snoring is going to be, making sure nobody can hear us, but, like, I don't know what Kaia and Barkley are up about, but we're on the same page here, right? We're going to play along. The Obscura will let us go, however, in whatever bad shape, and then we'll come back later with reinforcements, right?
Yeah, of course. We got our asses handed to us by fish people. You really think I want to just go out guns blazing when we barely made it out of that interaction, and these people seem to be far more competent than, what would you say, blasphemous fish people? I don't know, whatever it is. I'm not going to deal with that. Play along and get us out. That's my plan.
I particularly want to know what this Vakamsha is up to.
I would prefer not to, considering the connection, but we do need to get rid of the cultist presence in Sylph's temple, but definitely not right now.
I don't really care about that part, but whatever's up for you, you know.
I think that Sylph would not be a big fan of me just ignoring this, but we can't just go in, wands at the ready or whatever.
Well, I'm not very keen on giving up our contract, considering it is with family.
Exactly, so we can come back to this, but right now, I hope to Sylph they don't do anything stupid.
Ha! Kaia sneezes in her sleep.
Hey Mark Experience listeners, it's end credits time. I know you love hearing this part, but I like to remind you guys that you can find us on Tumblr, Instagram, and even TikTok. And if you like to buy the music, you can buy it all at markexperience.bandcamp.com. We also have a constantly growing collection of merch at redbubble.com/people/mark-experience, where you can buy posters and shirts and stickers and all that. If you want to support your favorite editor and musician, you can head over to my Ko-fi account at ko-fi.com/Jamie Remy. That's spelled JAMIEREMY. Mark Experience can be located basically anywhere podcasts exist now, so you can listen wherever's easiest. See you next episode!